Hey y'all, and welcome to the mountainsagefiberco podcast. I don't even know what episode this is. I should have looked at that before I hit record, but that's okay. If I had to guess, it would be episode 5, maybe. Yeah. So it is Friday, March 28th, and it is about 10 o'clock in the morning. I feel like I look a little disheveled because I had been out running a couple of errands and getting yarn to soak this morning before sitting down to do this. So I'm feeling a little warm. Hopefully as we get going into this, I will cool down a little bit. But yeah, so it has been a while. I have embarrassingly neglected this podcast. It was just a lot. I'll give you a very quick personal snippet, and then we're going to get into whips and yarn and all of that goodness. So I, a couple of weeks ago, was let go from my job. I have no idea why. I asked 100 different ways. They would not give me a reason. Idaho is a at-will state, so employers can let people go for no reason at all. So I now have the time to sit down and do this, but while I was, working outside the home, it was just becoming really difficult to keep up with all the stuff with the kids and, keeping, yarn dyed for the shop and social media, and YouTube was just, there was something that just had to give, and it was just unfortunately YouTube. But now I have the time to sit down and do this. My wonderful in-laws are helping us financially, super huge blessing. And I've been instructed to use my time to get the house ready to go on the market because we're going to be selling it, and working on my small business until we begin our next chapter. And I'll get into more of that when I have more details. I know, sorry, teaser, cliffhanger, sorry. But anyway, so I just wanted to jump on here. I had put a poll up in my Instagram a few days ago about asking what days are best for podcasting, when do people like to watch? And the majority said Fridays or weekends. So here we are, and I'm going to make a really good attempt to make this a weekly podcast. I'm not sure if I'll have a whole ton of progress to show every week, but we'll see. So I have 3 whips to show you, and I have a very tiny shop update. Next week, I'm going to have a huge shop update, but I'm not ready to get into all of that yet because I haven't said anything on social media yet. So as for today, it'll be 3 whips and a little bit of yarn. And then, yeah, I think that'll be good for this week. I feel like my hair just, okay. Anyway, so my first, I say 3 whips. I actually have 2 whips. I actually have more than 2 whips, but I'm only going to show the 2 I've really been working on. And I have a finish. So some of you may have seen this on Instagram. I finished my Muscle Bear Cat. This is out of my Twinkling Lights colorway. It was a Christmas colorway, and I will be bringing it back for this year. So I will unfold it. I had to finish it with some leftovers from my stash. So I did a little stripey kind of deal because I just didn't want to get bored with all the stockinette. So I mixed it up with some alternating rows, but that's a colorway from my leftover pile. But there's Twinkling Lights. I love how it did not pool. This was done on a 2.5 millimeter needle. I think that's right. Adult medium, 2.5. I felt like it went on forever. I think everyone feels that way, but the results are really good. I'm really happy with this. I took this on our trip to Washington. My husband and I took the kids up to the Olympic Peninsula, and we got to visit the Pacific Ocean, which was incredible, by the way. And we did a bunch of hiking in one of the rainforests and then over in the Lake Crescent area. And this was absolutely perfect. Didn't get too hot, kept me perfectly warm. So yeah, highly recommend this pattern. So. All right. My 2 whips that I've been working on, I've kind of set one aside a little bit to focus on, and I have a chicken out in the front yard. A little stinker. I need to put chicken wire over the top of the coop because I have 2 escape artists, and Daisy, I've already put her back in the coop once and she's back out again. Okay. This whip I've kind of set to the side because I have been focusing on something else, but this is my Harley sweater, Harley pullover. I don't know. So let's see, that's the back. I have it on waist yarn, but I'm working the raglan increases right now. So this bit here is the collar, and this will get sewn down. It'll get sewn down, and then you can see my little drawstring holes right here. So a drawstring, it'll be like the little casing for a drawstring. So this is the collar, and then each shoulder is flanked by a beautiful cable. So there's the other side of the shoulder on the back. And then the sleeve has this cable that runs all the way down the sleeve. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. So here's the front. And then here's the back. So yeah, loving how this is going. This yarn is Lolo Did It. I've had it in my stash for years, specifically for this project, and it was just time to get it going. I think the colorway is Pinky Tuscadero. I don't think she stocks it anymore, but I love it so much. Super excited about that one. I wanted to have it done before this season ended, but that's not going to happen. So it'll be for next year. Oh, and I'm storing it in a sweet little bag by Ivy's Knitting Emporium. I love cardinals, and I'm so sad that up here in Idaho, we don't have cardinals. We have plenty of other types of birds, but we don't have cardinals. Back in Texas, they were my favorite. I loved them so much. So when I saw this bag in her shop, I had to grab that. So nice roomy bag. It's got, I think I've got like 6 skeins of yarn in here. So yeah. Zipper, nice little handle. Check out her shop. She and I should go get that. She and I did a collaboration together. So you can check that out on my Etsy shop. It's also posted on my Instagram, but Ivy's Knitting Emporium, go check her out. She's got some good stuff. Okay, so my other whip, hang on, bear with me 1 second. My other whip is the Spun Flora top by Wool & Pine. Spun Flora. There's the cute little short sleeve top. And it's a little slow going. I'm a little out of practice with color work, so I'm kind of getting back into it. But I stopped in the middle of a round. It's okay. So here's what I've got so far. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness. So good. This is my yarn in Sunstone Glow and a test skein for a colorway that I'm going to be showing next week. I'm going ahead and using up the test skeins, and I have a few that are still listed in the shop if you're interested in that. But this one is going to be called Tartan, and I'm tweaking the recipe just a little bit. So it'll be slightly different than this one, not as variegated. It'll be a little subtler. Is that even a word? It'll be more subtle in the variegation. But yeah, it's gonna be the same color palette. So Tartan and Sunstone Glow. So fun. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this. So you cast on and then immediately they throw you into some short row increasing for the neckline around the back. And they use the German short row method, and I honestly, it's weird to say, like in almost 15 years of knitting, I've never done the German short row. I've always done like a wrap and turn, but I love the German short row technique, and I'm gonna have to use that moving forward because it was super easy, and it's a bit more tidy when you get to the short rows, like when you complete the stitches, it's a bit more tidy than the wrap and turn. So yeah. And then once you finish the short rows, you get dumped right into the color work for the yoke. And it's a big circular yoke. And on my size, I finish all the color work before I split for the sleeves. So that's nice. I don't have to fiddle with any color work, and trying to join underarms and all of that mess. So yeah, really excited about this one. I'm kind of ready to get through the color work just because I'm out of practice, but I feel like my tension was a little bit wonky up here at the top, but I've gotten better with it down here. So yeah, cute little stitch marker by Green Hearts Treasury, Ashley's shop. Go check her out. She's doing a mushroom, like an ongoing mushroom series. So she's got some different seasonal mushrooms, and she's currently working on ideas for more designs with those. So Green Hearts Treasury, check her out. She has a shop on Etsy and she has an Instagram account. So yes. Spun Flora top. Very excited about that one. Okay, that's all I'm going to show for projects. I mean, I've got other things that, I've kind of been fiddling with. I've got like a pocket sock going in the car for school drop-off line, my Cozy Memories blanket. Oh, I am wanting to cast on another blanket. I know. But I feel like everybody right now is working on blankets, and I want to feel included. I had asked on Instagram in my stories a couple days ago for blanket suggestions. I don't want a baby size blanket. I want a pattern that's going to give me a good full size blanket. I don't care what yarn weight it is. And I didn't get any suggestions, and I don't know if like people just weren't interested in blankets or they didn't know. I have no idea. I know everybody's doing the Sweet Shop blanket right now. I love that pattern, but I tend to not do things that everybody else is doing. I don't know. I'm just kind of like that. Sometimes I will, most of the time I won't. So I'm kind of waiting for that to die down a little bit before I maybe look at starting one of those. But I was looking at the Jelly Roll blanket because I have a bunch of DK leftovers. I saw a pattern the other day for like a hexagon blanket that looked really cool. But anyway, give me some suggestions for blanket patterns, because yeah, I would love to have help picking something out. Okay, moving on to some yarn. I have a huge shop update coming next week, so I don't want to get into all of that, But I do want to show some of the newer things that have been in the shop. A couple of them are getting some restock, so I don't have every weight to show on a couple of these colors. But we'll dive more into that next week, but it wouldn't be a podcast without showing a little bit of yarn. So my two newest colorways that I've got going on right now are Mystic Cavern and Sunstone Glow. So I wanted to do a geode inspired, I don't want to even say collection because it's only two colorways, but I wanted to do a geode inspired release. So I went through Pinterest and I found a couple that caught my eye. I couldn't even tell you the name of the geode or anything to do with it. I was just looking for colors and color palettes that looked really appealing. And so I came up with a purple one and a yellow and gray one. So this, let me take labels off. Mystic Cavern is the first one that I did. So it's a very light lavender base, and it's speckled with some bright aqua, some yellow, some purples. There's a little bit of peach in there. Did I use pink? I think I used a little bit of pink, but yeah, this one came out so pretty. Sorry for the crease where the label was. So this is my Sage sock base. I also have it on my twist. So the Sage sock is a 4-ply, 80% merino, superwash merino, 20%. Is that right? 80%. Oh my goodness. 80. Good grief, guys. 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. 437 yards for Sage sock. Sage twist is a 2-ply, so you can see the different ply there. It is also an 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 400 yards per 100 grams. So a little bit plumper of a base, which is really nice. It's beautiful to knit with. And then I have it on my Sage DK. Again, 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. This is a 4-ply DK weight. There is 246 yards in DK. So pretty. And then I have it on Stellina. Sage Sparkle is what I've named this space. This one is 80% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and 5% gold Stellina. The camera is not very good at picking up the sparkle, but you can see a little bit in there. I have it on Sage Worsted. This is a 3-ply Aran/worsted weight. And this is one of my newer bases. It is 100% superwash merino, 182 yards per 100 grams. Oh, look at those speckles. Oh my goodness, so good. And then I also have it on Sage Halo, which is what I've named my merino base. So 80, what is it? Is it 72? I don't have a label with me. 72% kid mohair, 20 something silk. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's close enough. So yeah, oh, so good. Okay, and I do have the swatches for Mystic Cavern. So here's the knit swatch. So pretty. And here's the crochet swatch. Love it. Okay. And then I have, oh, I've got labels all over the place. My Sunstone Glow. This one is, the restock is actually currently on the drying rack right now. So here's my sage sock. So it's a very light pink base, like under, what would you call it? There's a pink underneath the gray base. So it's mostly a gray base, but it starts with pink and then it's layered with some gray. And then over that, I layered it with some sage green. So you'll see little bits of that through the skein. And then the other side of the yarn is done with some different shades of like, there's a champagne and like a golden, I don't remember the name of the dye, but like a couple of golden yellow colors. And then there's some speckles of sage green and some like reddish brown. And so when I went to do my Colorado spring show, my mother-in-law has a couple of knitting groups there, and they invited me to come do a trunk show. And Sunstone Glow, I think I went with like 12 skeins of yarn, and these are the only 2 I came back with. So it was pretty popular, and I'm happy to see that. It's a rather unconventional colorway, but I think yellow and gray look so nice together, and so it was really neat to see it translate over onto yarn. The colors are getting a little blown out, but so this is sage sock, sage worsted. So pretty. And then I have the swatches here, and this will give you a really good idea of how it knits up. So here is the knit swatch. And I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but you can definitely see some of the pink that gets it put in there. Oh my goodness, so pretty. So there's the knit. And then here's the crochet. So good. Okay, and then I have some test skeins that are listed in the shop. I think I'm actually going to, once I list, because I tweaked both of these recipes. And so once I get that listed, I'm going to mark, these are going to get marked down. In fact, I'm going to mark them down today. So I love the way that they came out. I don't want this to be taken the wrong way. I love the way they came out, but I did not like the technique that I used. So the colors and the dye amounts are all the same in my recipe tweak. It's just the process that I use is different. So with that being said, let me show you what we've got here. So, okay. So this one, I have them marked as one of a kind, but the tweaked recipe, the new ones, they're going to be listed as Plum Dandy. So here it is on Sage Sock. So it's got a fuchsia base, like an underglow, underneath a purple and a blue. You can see some of the blue peeking up through there. And then it was a little bit too intense for what I was going for. So I, at the suggestion of another yarn dyer, I over-dyed it with some brown, which really toned it down. And some of the purple bits, it really like richened them up, like warmed them up quite a bit. So this actually, when I knit up the swatch for it, I was really pleased. But I'm not gonna repeat that dye process again. So these are gonna be one of a kinds. So that's Sage Sock. Here is Twist. Here is DK. And then here is the worsted. This is what I have left. So when it gets restocked as Plum Dandy, it'll have the Selena and the mohair with it, but those sold in Colorado. So here's the worsted. I love that brown underneath the purple. Oh my goodness, so pretty. Right there too, so pretty. I do have swatches done for this colorway. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. The light is blowing it out a little bit. So pretty. So there's the knit, and then here's the crochet. So good. Okay, and then this is this colorway. I have it again labeled as one of a kind, but the tweaked recipe is going to go in the shop as tartan. This is the color that I'm using the test gains for in my Spun Flora top. So here's Sage Sock. So with the tweaked recipe, this is all going to be a little bit more evenly dyed. It's not going to be as variegated, but I still think the variegated does look really pretty. Sage Sock. Sage Twist. And Sage Worsted. So this one has a chartreuse underglow. I love putting that bright underglow underneath colors. I think it just adds another layer of depth to it. I love playing with color. So chartreuse underglow, and then, oh gosh, let me think. It's got, I know there's some blue in here. I don't remember what other green I used. Oh gosh, I can't remember. And then it has the chartreuse base, and then it's got blue over that, and then to tone it down a little bit, I went over it with a medium gray. So it gives it kind of a little moodiness to it, which I know is in right now, that whole like dark academia, like dark mood aesthetic. Okay, so that's what I've got. Man, I am out of practice with this. I feel like I ramble. I need to like rein it in for next week. Yeah, that's what I've got. I stayed under half an hour. I don't think next week is going to be under half an hour. I think it's going to be a longer one. But yeah, it's good to be back doing this. I'm excited. I'm really hoping I can keep up consistency. If I have to list a personal flaw, consistency would be one of them. Constantly working on it. Yeah, so anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week with hopefully a little bit more progress on my whips and definitely some more yarns. So have a great weekend. Have a good week moving forward, and I will see you next Friday.